Does my hair look okay? If I turn a little bit.
Well, I just walked in front of the thing, so when you turned, I don't know. Inhale. Exhale. It was good to do that because you really do just need to relax into this. Like,
shove it all out.
Woo!
Hi guys.
What's up?
Welcome back
to our YouTube channel.
Whoop whoop.
We can really say that. We've done a good few videos now.
Like this is our actual thing now.
This is our brand. This is our business.
Wow.
Love it.
So proud of us.
I'm so proud of us. And if you're new to this channel, welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. Nice to see you for the first time.
Lovely, lovely to see you.
How you doing?
So good. How's it going? You okay?
You good? We are actually good. I don't know if that's coming across, but
I'm actually good.
We're very good.
Really good.
This is an exciting thing to talk about right now. We're really good.
Yeah.
Why are we good?
Because
we're going to Edinburgh.
I know.
Nah, we've said it.
Like out loud. It's out there in the domain.
We can't go
back.
We
can't
now.
Like go back.
Okay. We are actually excited.
We are excited.
And we are excited because not only are we going to the Edinburgh Fringe this year, 2025, August, hello, see you there. This also marks the very first episode of our very first YouTube series, Unshaded Arts Goes to Edinburgh. Working title. I don't know if that's going to be the title, but I just can't think of another one. Can you think of another one?
I think that's perfect.
It just sums
it
up.
It's in alignment. It's like
and right. YouTube algorithm, we heard you love series. So
yeah,
we're doing what we need to do to get in your good graces.
Exactly.
Push us out there. Let people see. We're going to the Fringe. We're going to the Fringe.
But why are we doing this to ourselves?
Why? No, honestly. No. I have been thinking about this ever since it was confirmed to us.
Yeah.
And even before. When it became a reality, suddenly the saboteur was going off.
When contracts start being signed.
Because contracts have been signed.
Like contracts start being signed, you're like, now it's actually happening.
Contracts have been signed, deposits have been paid, budgets are being put together.
We're too far gone.
We're very knee deep into this, and it didn't start yesterday. We've been planning this for quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, one of us has been planning it for quite some time because one of us wasn't super convinced.
I really wasn't. Like, I was like, what is this? And it's not even that I don't like Edinburgh. I think the idea has always been like etched in my brain. But I think just the thought of it just... Ooh.
It's scary.
But I think now it's more like, oh, okay, like this is a mountain, but a mountain that can be conquered.
And it's going to be, which is why we're even being as bold and brazen as to put this out there to you right now. This is going to work. We're just going to say it. We're going to speak it into existence. And I don't want that to come across as delusional or not. I mean, it should come across as delusional, to be honest. Let it be. I don't want this to come off as though we haven't thought about this or that this was just something that we just decided was going to be a good idea. We've honestly been talking about the Fringe for years.
We have,
Just never made any firm plans to go. It was never really the right time. We never really had the right projects. And I do think when you are based in London, sometimes you wonder, why are you going to go to Edinburgh with all of the risks that Edinburgh has? It's expensive, it's out of our comfort zone, it's very oversaturated. You actually hear a lot more horror stories than you do success stories. So you think, well, why are you going to put yourself through that? But the reality is, it is the biggest fringe festival in the world. So at some point, it's terrain you have to try, especially as a company. As artists, I don't know if it's an essential that you have to go. Like if you're an actor, you don't necessarily have to go to the Edinburgh Fringe. But I think if you're a theatre maker, you have to test that ground.
Definitely.
You just do.
Yeah.
And this is the year
that it's happening.
That it's happening.
I know.
And we should probably go into the journey of getting to this point because, as I say, this wasn't a consideration that we came up with yesterday.
Yeah.
We looked into the Fringe last year.
I think we're a bit too late in the planning, weren't we?
And it just wasn't the right time. But it planted the seed.
Exactly.
And what ended up happening last year was we ended up utilising other opportunities to work on the shows that we are going to be bringing. Because spoiler alert, we ain't bringing one show.
We're bringing 2 shows!
We're bringing 2 shows! I mean, if you thought we were crazy to just go, we're not just going with 1 show, we are going with 2. I'm not going to talk about the 2.
Trust us to do that. I think there's a pattern here.
The pattern is that we shoot for the stars. Unshaded Arts doesn't do anything half-heartedly, and we don't do things that are easy. We probably can sometimes get the criticism that we are a bit too overambitious, but I think if you've ever heard of the saying, growth and comfort don't coexist,
They really don't.
It doesn't. I don't think we would even be in this position if we didn't aim high.
Yeah.
So why stop? now.
And I think there's something about taking calculated risks. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I feel this is.
You talked about that in the producing video, which we will link, because
yes,
calculated risks is a huge part of producing.
Yeah, that like at some point you have to take those risks, of course within reason, which is why it's calculated. Sometimes you just need to give yourself the space to grow. And like you said, being too comfortable, how much are you going to achieve when you're too comfortable? So
nada.
Nothing.
Beyonce's never comfortable.
Right?
She's never comfortable, so why should we?
Why should we?
And we have the same amount of hours in the day as her, so we're going to make this work.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. No, but really, why are we doing this to ourselves? It's funny because I'll hold my hands up and say that this was very driven by my ambition, which I want to be clear, I've never really had like the dream of going to the Edinburgh Fringe, but as I said before, I do think as theatre makers, it is an environment that you have to try and you have to take it seriously. Last year, we tried, didn't work, but what it planted the seed for us to do was work on one of the shows that we're actually going to be taking this year. That show being Because, my solo show, which we haven't talked about yet. And we're not going to go into too much detail in this video. We will go into it in another one because that journey and that play is worth a whole video in itself. But I actually applied for Edinburgh with that play for 2024. And as Chesa rightly said, we were a bit too late in the planning. And I think we'd only really honed in on one venue, which if you're new to applying to the Edinburgh Fringe, you probably shouldn't do that. You really should keep your options open, try and apply for more than one, because it is kind of a numbers game, especially if it's your first time going. We worked on the show, staged it in another festival in London. After the success of that from an artistic level, I thought we can't just let the show die there. How do we take it forward? And it wasn't until actually we went to Kenya to do Chesa's play, Strangers and Revelations, that I said,
there's something in this.
And do you remember why I said that?
What did you say?
You had specific desires for the play to tour.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of the reasons that I suggested Edinburgh for your play specifically was because touring opportunities can come from going to Edinburgh.
Yes, you did say that,
That was why the idea of Edinburgh came up again. It wasn't actually for my show. It was for yours. And
so kind.
But then I said, if we're going,
why not?
Why we have two that are ready.
Go big or go home.
Go big or stay in London. Like,
but
what are you going to do?
It's just the fact that, like, when you look at 2024, and as much as we wanted to go then, everything that happened was sort of like planting the seed for both shows to go. Whether we were aware of it or not, I don't believe in coincidence. When you then kept on talking about Edinburgh, I eventually, after a while, eventually caught on. And I'm glad that I did, because obviously there's going to be challenges with everything, but I think it's just feeling like it's the right thing to do. And again, going back to calculated risk and like looking at these two shows and thinking there's more. Like, I think the world needs to see these shows. And I think when you talk about this whole idea of why Edinburgh, like why are we doing this to ourselves, because Edinburgh is so big and it's the biggest festival in the world, you know, the opportunity to see our people and to connect them to our stories, to be able to actually put our company in that position to do that, especially because we're going into our 7th year. And I think there's something so special about the number 7. So I'm excited. I think that's worthy enough for us to say, let's go.
Timing is everything. And I just feel in my heart like this is the right time. If you remember in the Fringe video that we did about Support Fringe Theatre, we talked about Fringe environments being testing grounds. What we essentially got the opportunity to do with our plays last year was test them. And there was success with that. So the success of that and the fact that there's probably still room for more of them to grow, which is also exciting. In another video, I said that you don't finish a project, you abandon it. So, you know, we abandoned those at the time of the deadlines being completed, but we are now revisiting those journeys. We are completing this process, which always started, in my mind, with Edinburgh being a huge part of that journey. Let's be honest, if it goes well, this could be a huge turning point for us as artists. This could be a huge turning point for us as a company. So why not put yourself in that position? You have to be in it to win it. Yes, there are a million reasons as to why it can go wrong. You hear so many horror stories year after year of people losing all their money, people not getting an audience, people basically hating the process. But you do also see those victories.
Let's talk about how we secure the venue, because I think that for me is also telling of little nuggets of like, look, this is not so crazy.
Spoiler alert, I had to do the applications because she was not solved.
Of course he did.
And I just
I'm
basically...
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, but I think that in the same way that you took the charge with doing the applications for Kenya, is the same way I said, I think we have to try this. I learned from the mistake of 2024 and didn't settle for one venue. I applied for a few, but I also didn't apply for every single venue. I was still being considered about where we could possibly be served best. The kind of things I was looking for was, okay, we're a new company and we're going without really the backing of a bigger company or an award, for example. Those are the fears that you have in your head when you're going independently, is that maybe you don't have enough of a push from forces outside of yourself. Sometimes you think, is this actually going to be enough? Spoiler alert, it is, and we'll prove that, hopefully. No, we are. Hopefully leaves room for failure. We are going to prove that. This is a video about setting intentions and we're going to do it. So I submitted the applications. I didn't necessarily go for the same venues for each show. I tried to look at each show and say, where do I think individually these shows can be served within this huge landscape that is the Edinburgh Fringe Festival? And the one that I applied for with Because, I got a response within less than 24 hours.
I mean...
And let me compare this to 2024, when it took an entire month to get a rejection.
Oof.
So when we're talking about timing...
divine alignment is always on time.
And the cynic in your brain might be thinking, well, if it's too easy, then maybe that's a problem. I'm not saying we secured and signed a contract in 24 hours, but I think sometimes, especially when you're an artist, there's this sense that graft and hard work and struggle is synonymous with success. But you can also be in a flow state. Because it's not that we're not doing the work. I had to put in work for those applications. That took time. I had to be considered. But when things are meant to be, they're meant to be. And we got a response within 24 hours, which basically said, your show is perfect for Edinburgh. Now, I'm not going to be gassed by someone giving you a compliment. What that told me was that you are on the right track this year, because that was not the case last year. Within 24 hours, I was on Google Meet having a conversation with the person who runs this venue. There was lots of pearls of wisdom that were planted in that conversation that gave me a whole different perspective and just made me think, I think this could be a good fit. And what was insane was, I just happened to say in passing that we're going to be bringing 2 shows to Edinburgh. I didn't even apply with Ched's Play for the space that we're going to be in, which, pun intended, is actually the space. And we struck a deal. The likelihood is that it's probably going to be the best venue for both plays. So
here we are.
Here we are. We signed the contracts and we're good to go. So as we've said, we are bringing 2 shows to Edinburgh. We will be bringing Strangers in Revelation by Chedza Odzi, her debut play, her debut full length. Big up to Chedza. And we are bringing my solo show, Because.
By Hassan Gavaya.
Hey.
Starring
me.
Exactly.
I'm a writer-performer, guys. Edinburgh's like where we're meant to be. So, and you're performing in yours too.
I am.
So this is also really exciting for us as individual artists because yes, we're going together, we're helping each other, we've got our teams for our shows, but we get to show both sides of our artistry. I don't know if you know by now, but we're a package deal. But that doesn't mean we need to be in every show together. What's beautiful about Unshaded Arts is it's reflective of both of our points of view. And that's also why I particularly felt it was important that we use Edinburgh as an opportunity to put both points of view out there. It's the first time that we will ever be playing 2 of our shows at the same time. And you get to have a taste of both of us. As much as we are in alignment with what we want artistically, our life experience and what inspires the stories that we want to tell is different. And the whole point about Unshaded Arts is to celebrate that difference, but to not make it seem as though it's so different that it can't be relatable. As much as the origins of our stories are different, there's overlap in the themes. In terms of the stories and where they go, they are different, but we can individually relate to each other's stories. So you're going to be able to relate to. And you're going to be able to enjoy and have an experience, which is what we always intend to provide.
Hundreds.
And that's what's exciting. And that's why I am super happy about the fact that we are taking this risk.
And you're on the journey.
But I'm not going to lie, I'm scared. I'm terrified. Like, I'm actually terrified.
There are times I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Then I'm like,
it is quite anxiety inducing because we don't want to fail.
Whoever wants to fail?
No one ever wants to fail.
But we have to state the intention. We have to just do what we can, work hard, and just leave the rest to God.
And in line with stating intentions, I think it's time to really state our intentions, because we're going to do something really fun and actually share with you our individual goals for the festival. Now, I don't know if you've seen in the videos that we've done, we drop in little words here and there about alignment and just things being meant to be. I think we've said it a few times in this video. Some may see it as manifestation, other people see it as a spiritual journey, but for us, we're big on that, and we're big on being in alignment with what's meant for us. But we also think that that means you have to put that out there.
Yeah.
You can't just, you know, be unclear with your intentions. And even when you do something as big as Edinburgh, what do you want from it? Why are you going? Why go on this journey if you don't have a goal or several goals in mind? What is it that you want to achieve? And the point of what we're about to do is we are going to throw logic right out the window. We're going to forget about the fact that we are two independent artists who are doing this together, and we could be swallowed up by companies with bigger machines than us. We're not going to worry about that. And we are going to show you plainly what our big goals for this festival are. However, there's a bit of a twist.
There's always a twist, always a twist.
Because we're going to show you, but we're not going to really show you. What we're going to do is we're going to make it clear to you today that these are the goals that we have written down as of today. But you're not actually going to see what they are.
Yeah.
Because this is a series, we're going to wait until the end of the festival to reveal them then. And the idea is for us to see if we have achieved them. Because the point of setting these goals, we need to set them, and they are so big, we need to throw them out the window and allow our subconscious to take over and put us on the right path. So we just want to show you the pieces of paper today as proof that these goals were set today. I mean, they were set prior to today. We just wrote them down and we're showing you today. But at the end of the festival, we're either going to achieve them or we're not.
Yeah.
And what's the worst that could happen? A lot could happen, but I believe that setting goals, it's more about the journey that you go on as a result of the goal setting. And what we're doing is we're setting goals and we're going on a journey. Yeah. And you're going to see the journey. Yeah. And I don't know whether it's about the results at the end of the day, but I think in order to get the best possible results, you have to aim high. Yeah. And be prepared to do the work to get there. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go for it. Now, I haven't thought about how we're going to do this. Exactly. Because you really need to I think you have to walk to the camera.
I'll walk to the camera. You might need to come to see if it's in shot.
Let's do it.
Then I'll do it for yours. Well, I'll do it for yours before we... Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Woo!
To answer the question, why are we doing it? You've just seen, but you haven't just seen why we're doing it. And stick around to find out if we get what we want. Ooh.
Double, tall and trouble.
So what's really exciting about this is that we are going to share this process with you. And this is the first opportunity, actually, for us as a company, for you to kind of come behind the scenes of the process. We will try to document as much of that as we can, things like rehearsals, even things like, I don't know, working on our budgets, for example. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into making a show that's not like fun and exciting, but actually it's work that we have to do. And I think that this is what we have committed to doing with this channel, is showing you as much of the process as we can for the benefit of anybody who is interested in learning, who wants to maybe consider theatre making as a career for yourself, but even just for people who want to know more about how these things are achieved and to contribute to the conversation. There's so much conversation about the infrastructure of theatre and the economics of theatre. I just think they're not widely understood, even by us. Like we've been doing this, as Chedza says, for nearly 7 years, and it still feels like we are fishes out of water. And I think part of what we want to try and achieve this year is we do want to be more empowered in our process. We do want to be more empowered in how we create, and not just from a creative point of view, but from a business point of view. So we're going to do our best to share everything. So stick around. Keep watching, subscribe if you ain't already. The video ain't over, but maybe the video is over. Do we have anything else to say?
No, I think it's over. I think it's done.
Why does it feel so short?
Yeah, that is it.
You know what? Sometimes you just need to know what you need to know.
Yeah. Oh, love you guys.
Oh, this is amazing. It's a very vulnerable moment for us, but do stick around to see how we get on. And let us know if you're going to go to the Fringe this year. Let us know if you're going to come to the shows. They will be on sale soon. So when they go on sale, we will put the links in the video. So depending on when you're watching the video, the links might already be in there, but if they're not, it's because it's not on sale yet. This is where our content gets really exciting, because it's less about us talking about what we've done and actually showing it and putting our money where our mouth is, quite literally. So, done.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
See you soon.
What was that?
What was I do this thing where I go, I don't know where I got that from.
We have
It's
tics.
really annoying.
Yeah.
And I can't censor it because that's me. That's part of.
We ain't censoring nothing. What you see is what you get, people. Exactly. If we're doing characters who are not us,
exactly, it's much easier.
Yeah.
But when you're you, where do you go from there?
We have to love ourselves.
Self-love.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you in the next one.
See ya.
Ciao. I do this all the time as well.